Welcome back to my channel for this week's Human Design Transit Report. And today is Monday, September 4th, and the new transit starts today. So we're going to go ahead and just dive right into what's happening now. It's really a classic creative tension is what I would call it. My teacher, Karen Curry Parker, would call it a conundrum, but we can see a way to have these energies dance with each other. Okay, let's go ahead and dive right in. So during this transit, we have the left brain energy and the right brain energy highlighted because we have the two gates that are the beginning of those two different circuits are lit up by the sun and the earth. So the earth is lighting up the gate 63. The gate 63 is the beginning of the logic circuit or the understanding circuit or the pattern circuit. And it's known as doubt in traditional human design, which is a pretty negative kind of energy, right? I doubt it. Prove it to me. It's that kind of an energy, right? It's kind of dismissive and or undermining. Like if you're always doubting yourself or you're doubting information that you get or you're doubting the sources that you get, right? That can be pretty disempowering to be in a state of doubt. I did a reading for a woman not too long ago where she said, "Oh God, I'm constantly doubting myself," right? And so we did a lot of coaching around that about what she could do instead. So what you can do instead, if you find that you have been subjected to the tyranny of doubt, is to instead turn it into curiosity, right? It's like, I wonder about this. You're not necessarily immediately seeking answers, which is the mate of the 63, which is answers or possibility. You're not necessarily going there, right there immediately. You're just trying to open things up, right? Because after all, this is the beginning, right, of that circuit. So you want to be open and allow in the insights that are going to come in. And if you're there doubting, going, I don't know. I don't believe this insight. I don't believe this download again I'm getting. I don't believe this intuition, right? Do you see how closed in that is if you're in that state of doubt? Whereas if you're I'm curious about that. I'm curious about what, this information that's coming in for me. I'm curious about this situation that I'm seeing in the world. I'm curious about this person. I'm curious about this thing that's happening inside of me, right? You open up to curiosity. That's a really empowering kind of attitude to have with that left brain, because unfortunately, too much of the time we have been really conditioned into, I would consider a kind of shadow aspect of the 63 and also just of the logic circuit in general, where we tend to use logic, reason, analysis, data, strategy to kind of discard and undermine things, if it doesn't adhere to the scientific method, right, the Western scientific method, because there's many different kinds of scientific methods, as it turns out. If it doesn't adhere to that, and if we can't prove it, and if we can't replicate it, and if we can't say where we got it from, well, then I doubt it, right? And then we dismiss it. That is just so incredibly limiting, because the truth is that there's so many things we don't know about, right? I mean, even with all of our study, even with all of our tracking, even with all of our incredible science, there's just so many things that we can't understand looking at it in that way. And so we want to be able to release ourselves from left brain dominance. If you've been following me for a while, you've heard me talk about this, which is left brain dominance can really just kind of shut us down. And it can also send us into a really unregulated nervous system. It can make us into a fight or flight kind of energy pattern. And we don't want to live that way, right? It's stressful. Plus, it's just completely unnecessary and it's inaccurate. So what we want to do is we want to be able to have that left brain energy in curiosity, in possibility, right? Because all good science begins with curiosity about something that's happening in the natural world, the living world, right? We're like, wow, why is that like that? Right? How can we work with that? It doesn't start from being, I doubt that, It's like, no, it starts from curiosity. So that's the invitation I want to extend to you for definitely while the earth is lighting that up. And then the sun is sitting on that gate 63. And it is in the gate, it's in gate 64, which is right-brained energy. And it's also Mercury is also lighting up that gate. So we've got a double activation on this 64. So the 64 is the right-brain energy, and it is a creative, it's expansive, it's intuitive, it's embodied, it's experiential. It's very much connected to the cosmos. And so it is very different than the left-brained energy, and we need both, right? We need both of them. Both of them are valid. Both of them are important. Both of them have things to provide to us that we need. And so the invitation really here is, how do we get the two of them to dance with each other rather than coming into conflict? And it takes some intention because of that left brain dominance that we have. It takes some intention for us to say, you know what, we're going to find a way where we honor what each of them has to offer, and we're not going to dismiss them because they're really different ways of knowing. Now, the 64 in traditional human design is known as the gate of confusion. And in quantum human design is divine transference. Now, can you think of something that's more different? I mean, curiosity and doubt, right? Very different, right? But also confusion and divine transference. So confusion, I think, arises when we try to understand the downloads, the epiphanies, the insights, the spiritual information that is coming to us through that right brain. When we try to understand that with the left brain, we get confused because it doesn't really work, right? That's how we fall into confusion. We have to be able to honor each and realize that each has their own kind of logic. Not logic like we usually think of, right? But it has its own internal understanding about what it's about. And I love this divine transference, right? Because what else is happening with our creativity, with our imagination, with our experience is what we're plugged into the creative intelligence of the universe, and we're being infused with that. And then we're being creative in our lives and we're experiencing things, right? This is what the 64 provides us with the opportunity to have that. And so the sun is really lighting that up. It's saying, hey, let's tap into this incredible intelligence that's available to us. And then Mercury is like, yeah, and then let's talk about it with each other. Let's talk about it. Let's teach about it when it's the right situation. So this is a great opportunity for you to be inviting that beginning of that logic circuit in with the 63 and saying, let's be curious, right? Let's be curious and let's allow the spiritual information that comes in actually through all the gates on the head. All of them are open to spiritual information coming from the creative intelligence of the universe. Let's open to that. Let's be curious about it. Let's receive it. Let's allow divine transference to occur. And then let's see what happens. And let's honor the different kinds of intelligence, the different kinds of information, because we are really multi-dimensional people. We're not just, linear people, right? We're not just logical. We actually have multiple dimensions that we live in and we operate in simultaneously. And it's about how do we work with those different aspects of ourselves, right? And so we want both our right brain and our left brain to be really active and really available to us. And if you want to know more about this, I would highly recommend you go check out Jill Bolte Taylor's most recent book, which is Whole Brain Living, which is all about the thinking and the emotional centers that we have both on the left brain and in the right brain, and how they interact with each other and the different contributions that we make to understanding ourselves and understanding how we interface with the world. She's really brilliant about that. If you haven't seen her TED Talk, My Stroke of Insight, it was the very first TED Talk that went viral. And she was talking about how she had a stroke and she lost a big part of her left brain, and how she became really dysfunctional without a left brain. So we need our left brain. It's not that we don't need it. It's just we want it to play nice, and we want it to be in balance with what's happening with our right brain as well. I also want to let you know that this Thursday on September 7th, but this will be the first Thursday of every month. I'm through the end of the year anyway, through 2023. We're going to try it out, see how much you love it. I'm doing a live event called Ask Me Anything. And I invite you to come and check it out. You can register for it through Eventbrite. It's free. Or if you're in or you want to come into our Becoming Sovereign Quantum Retreat Center and Global Community, then you'll find the event in there, and you can connect with other people who are also going to be at that event as well. And the replay will be up inside of the Becoming Sovereign Quantum Community as well. So I hope you'll join that for me. I imagine you might have one or two questions about human design you might want to ask me. You can ask about human design, you can ask about Kundalini yoga or deconditioning, you can ask kind of general questions about human design, or you can ask ones about your chart, really anything you want to. I'm happy to connect with you then. Okay, many blessings, much love. Bye for now.